Hello, in this video we will discuss about the stomata physiology, a mechanism of opening and closing of stomata, changes in turgor of God cell. So first of all we should need to understand the anatomy of the leaf and we will learn about the stomata and what is the function of stomata. Stomata is basically used for the transpiration as well as the carbon dioxide move into the leaf for photosynthesis from the mesophyll cell, palisade and spongy mesophyll cell. So here is the leaf. This leaf absorbs the light in the presence of chlorophyll. Chlorophyll are present in the palisade mesophyll cell and spongy mesophyll cell. And in this way, the carbon dioxide will be fixed during the dark reaction and the water will be used is known as the photosynthesis. So the leaf is used for photosynthesis, so that is why it is known as autotrophs because it produces energy itself. So here is the water will be absorbed from the root and from the air the carbon dioxide will be fixed and the light in the presence of chlorophyll that will be photosynthesis. So here is the cross section of the leaf. Let's learn about the stomata and their leaf structure. So this is the cross section which that's contain a epidermis and hypodermis. Basically it is known as upper cuticle and epicuticle and hypocuticle. So this is the cuticle, simply we can say, and this cuticle is the upper leaf and lower leaves contain waxy layer which that is hydrophobic. So this is a spongy palisade mesophyll cell and spongy mesophyll cell is used for the photosynthesis. Why? Because contain a rich amount of organelles known as chloroplast. So the phototactic movement, phototactic movement will be occur. So this is the high water vapor content are present in the space. So the air space are present between the palisade mesophyll cell and uh, the epidermis. So this is the epidermis content and this is the xylem and phloem. Xylem is used for the water conduction while the phloem is used for the food conduction. So this is the midrib is also known as, and this is the air boundary layer. So the carbon dioxide will move inside and in this way the accumulation of carbon dioxide due to the diffusion because the carbon dioxide is more in the environment as compared to the inside of the leaf and it will be moved through guard cell through the stomata when guard cell will be open. So this is the stomata. Stomata is the inner pore which that is after the turgidity of the guard cell will increase the stomata will lead to gases exchange. For example, the oxygen will be move out while the carbon dioxide will move in. So this is the boundary layer resistant. So this is a bundle sheath cell. This bundle sheath cell are present in the C4 plant also. So this bundle sheath cell is very important for photosynthesis also. So let's begin to understand the closing and opening of the stomata first. This is the lower surface of the leaf and this lower surface of the leaf here is the open stomata. This open stomata is due to the guard cell turgidity due to the water accumulation and the turgidity due to the hydrostatic pressure and turgor pressure will lead to turgid the stomata will open the stomata due to the turgidity of the guard cell. So remember, so this is the subsidiary cell which that is thick as compared to the other leaf cell. So on the other hand the closed stomata is in this manner during the night time due to the loss of water will lead to shrink of the guard cell, sorry, not stomata. So guard cell will be shrink will lead to close the stomata. So the stomata is pore. So here is the H. van May, a German botanist, proposed that turgor changes in guard cells provide the driving force for stomatal movement. So in this way, let's begin to understand the stomatal movement. So remember, when water will be enter into the guard cell, when water will be enter, the hydrostatic pressure will exert on the wall of the guard cell, which that contains cellulose. And in this way, the exerting force, that is the turgor pressure, will generate, and this turgor pressure, the O, will lead to open the stomata due to the turgidity, and the stomata will be open. After the stomata will be open, the gases can be easily transfused. Gases can be enter and exit. So here is the closed stomata due to the loss of water is known as the flaccid stomata during the night time. So in this way, this is the basically loss of the turgor pressure. And let's begin to understand the causes of change turgor pressure in guard cell. So the causes of change turgor pressure in guard cell due to the some reason. So let's begin to understand this is the open and closed stomata due to the guard cell activity. For example, when water will move inside, so the osmotic potential positive inside when, so the outside osmotic potential will be negative. So the water will move inside because the water potential will be increased outside will lead to move inside because inside the water potential will be decreased. So in this way, the osmosis of water inward movement will be occur. And in this way, the osmotic potential negative, osmotic potential will be negative inside when, so the stomata will be open. And in this way, this is the causes of change turgor pressure in guard cell because the turgidity will be increased, will lead to open the stomata. So let's begin to understand the theories explaining opening and closing of stomata. First theory is the photosynthesis in guard cell. That is the possibility. In this way, the chloroplasts are present in the stomata, in the guard cell. So in the guard cell during the daytime, so chloroplast is the organelle which that is used for the photosynthesis. So the water and carbon dioxide will be accumulated to produce the glucose in the presence of light is known as photosynthesis. So the glucose will be are present in the guard cell. In this way, the water will be absorbed due to the glucose is solute will attract the water due to the water potential is the outside. The subsidiary cell are more as compared to the inside because the glucose is more. So the stomata when closed will begin to open due to the production of glucose more during the photosynthesis. But in this way, let's begin to understand the more. In this way, the late daytime that stomata remain open for the oxygen will move outside while the carbon dioxide will move inside for photosynthesis in the dark reaction in Calvin cycle. So the carbon dioxide fixation. So the osmotic potential of guard cell is open, increased. So inside the osmotic potential will be the water potential will be zero, for example, positive outside and less negative, while the inside is the more negative. So in this way, the water will move inside. So on the other hand, when glucose will convert into the starch during the night time, so the osmotic potential of guard cell is reduced at night. So in this way, the osmotic potential mean inside the osmotic potential will be decreased. So the water can be easily move out because the inside the water content will be more because the starch synthesis. But objection is here, but it has been observed that guard cell protoplast lack enzyme required for reduction of carbon dioxide leading to the formation of sugar. So this can be objection. But let's begin to understand another theory which that is explain the starch sugar interconversion hypothesis of stomatal movements. So in this way, this is the same mechanism. The starch and sugar basically is the interconversion, and in this way the diastase enzyme used for it, and in this way the osmotic potential will be decreased when, so the pH also decrease, and this pH will decrease due to the increase of the carbon dioxide will lead to more acidic because the carbonic acid production, and in this way that during the night time this will be happen, and in this way when acidic pH when pH will be drop and carbon dioxide will be increased will lead to starch synthesis, while in this case the sugar conversion due to the osmotic potential when increase during the daytime, and the pH will be increased mean more basic, and the carbon dioxide when decrease, so the carbonic acid formation will be decreased. So this is a starch and phosphate group which that is basically combined together to form a glucose 1 phosphate. So the pH in the daytime will be more basic, while the dark time, the night time, the pH will be dropped to more acidic. So in this way the phosphorylase enzyme used during the daytime, and to produce the glucose 1 phosphate, the glucose 6 phosphate conversion. So in this way the glucose 6 phosphate conversion will lead to during the light time or daytime, the glucose will be dissociated with the phosphate group will be glucose, and this glucose will absorb more water, and in this way the hexokinase plus ATP used to during the dark time to produce glucose 1 phosphate will again produce starch. So after the starch formation, the less water required because the starch is insoluble in water. So the water will be moved out due to the higher potential inside as compared to the outside. So another theory is the active potassium ion transport and hormonal regulation theory. In this way, for example, during the daytime, the guard cell will be activated, and in this way the photosynthesis in guard cell will be occur. This photosynthesis will decrease the carbon dioxide because the fixation of carbon dioxide in the Calvin cycle, and the using of the carbon dioxide will lead to decrease inside of the guard cell. So after this decrease the carbon dioxide mean the increase of the pH mean more basic because less carbonic acid, while carbon dioxide when decrease mean the ATP synthesis will be increased in due to the electron transport chain. So the pH when increase in this way more basic will produce the carbonic ion. So the carbonic ion and phosphoenol pyruvate combine together to form a malic acid. So also the phosphorylation of the photosynthesis in guard cell will produce ATP synthesis also. So the malic acid production will lead to ATPase mediated proton and potassium exchange activity moves into guard cell. After the move into the guard cell, the anion flow passively. An increased concentration of potassium and anions increase the concentration of potassium and anions and open guard cells. When open guard cell in this way, because the increased concentration of potassium and anion inside of the guard cell will lead to open the guard cell, and stomata will be open. Sorry, turgid the guard cell, not open, but you can understand, and stomata will be open. While in this case here is you can see the ATP will be more produced synthesis during this daytime reaction will lead to ATPase mediated potassium pump moves potassium actively into guard cells, anions flow passively, anions follow passively, and in this way the anions will be increased will lead to open guards open stomata. So in this way this is the function of stomata physiology mechanism of opening and closing of stomata, changes in turgor of guard cells. So I hope you make sense about this. This is the lesson about the physiology of plant. So thanks for watching. Please make sure to subscribe. Bye.